So the question we need to ask is, why did Europeans start colonizing and exploring around the world? We discussed this a little bit when we were talking about the Renaissance and the Reformation, that while we're giving new life to all of these ideas and we're studying and we're reading and we're thinking, it's not just impacting our culture and our religion, it's impacting our science and our travel as well. But it's important to know that this is not the beginning of the relationship between the Europeans and the Asians when it came to trade. The Europeans and Asians had been connected along the Silk Trade route since the Han Dynasty and the Roman Empire, and there had been a very close connection of trade between these two regions for almost 1,500 years. But think about it this way. In 1960, when President Kennedy said, "By the end of the decade, we put a man on the moon," why didn't he just say go then? Well, we weren't ready. We hadn't invented the things that we needed to be able to safely get a person to the moon and back. We had to develop technology, we needed to broaden our understanding, we needed to have more innovation. It's the exact same thing, except with ships instead of spaceships. One of those innovations is going to be map making. Maps were used to help sailors safely get from Europe to wherever they were sailing to. Here's a really interesting map. This is one of the maps made by Mercator. Mercator was a map maker that took advantage of the New World and started drawing maps. That's called cartography of the New World. And you can see that the outlines for North and South America are really wrong now that we have satellites who can see the actual continents. Now, although it's not perfect, Europe, Africa, and Asia, at least for the coastline, is much closer to accurate. It's the broad spaces and distances that we didn't quite understand. The more you travel, the more you learn the map. The better the map, the safer people felt traveling. Oops. Also, improved navigational equipment. So the Chinese had invented the compass centuries before this, but it was primarily only used by traders who caravanned and mostly in the desert. Sailors are going to start using this till right around the time of exploration in the 15th and 16th century. Here's a picture of an astrolabe. You could use the horizon and the stars so that you could travel far away. If I go back and we look at the map on that second slide where it showed the Silk Road and the caravan routes across land, you'll notice the water routes were all along the coast because they couldn't sail too far away from the coast, otherwise they'd get lost. But that's not a very direct route and it takes a lot longer. Now with the compass and the astrolabe, it's much safer and easier to travel away from the coastline. And number 3, you have the Lateen sails. Traditionally had been the square sails, but they blocked the wind. They weren't quite as fast. There was a lot of resistance against the wind. But these Lateen triangular sails, they caught the wind. So you could sail faster, get to your destination there and back much more quickly with the safety of your compass and your map.